Hey y'all, I'm James Wright. Welcome to my shop. And this plane changed everything about the woodworking trade. Imagine for a second, it's 1870. The Civil War has recently ended and the whole United States needs to be rebuilt. If you're a carpenter, a cabinet maker, or a jointer, you can make some decent money because everyone needs something rebuilt. It's also around this time that we see a lot of innovation and interesting, odd contraptions being made. Stanley had been making rules and levels and doing fairly well, but with all this innovation going on, they wanted to branch out and do a bunch of other things, such as planes, chisels, and spokeshaves. You also see companies, particularly Stanley, making weird things that can do multiple jobs in one little tool. And most woodworkers would have a tool chest that would actually have quite a few planes in it. It sure would be nice, especially if those odd-shaped planes could be combined into one. Let me introduce you to the Stanley number 42. This is what Stanley called the Miller's Patent Adjustable Metallic Plow, Philister, Rabbet, and Machining Plane. Let me introduce you to the original combination plane. Let me show you its features. That's right, before the Stanley 45, 50, 46, or even the Stanley 55, there was the 42. And let me tell you, this thing is absolutely gorgeous. The 55 may have a lot more bells and whistles and knobs, but they really knew how to make old planes look absolutely gorgeous. I mean, look at the detail on this thing. It's just covered in just beautiful. At first glance, it actually looks like a moving Philister plane. It's a rabbeting plane. It's got a 90-degree bed to a side. It's got a slitting knicker right here on the side. It's got a depth stop. It's got a fence. It's a rabbeting plane. But once you take off this fence, which is actually kind of ingenious, it wraps around the sole, you'll see that the body on here has these two keyhole screws. We can loosen these screws up and then slide this whole sole off. And now, well, it looks kind of like a 45. And it came with a fantastic little set of different cutters. The first thing mentioned in the original print was a plow plane. And much like old wooden plow planes, these actually had a groove up the middle that would then be supported by the skate. And so the skate would actually run up the middle of the iron rather than being on the outside edge like regular 45s. It also came with a second fence that didn't have the wraparound. This fence would then slide down on and allow you to turn it into a plow plane. And just like with a plow plane, it can be used to cut a groove. The last title in there is the matching plane, or what we would call a tongue and groove plane. We could put these in and do the exact same thing, create the groove, and then create the tongue that would fit it. The middle two names were Philister and Rabbet. So those are basically the same thing with one slight difference. Those are when you can actually put this sole onto it and it turns it into a rabbet plane. But this little spur up here, that tiny little knicker, that is what makes it a Philister plane. A rabbet is a shelf, a 90-degree shelf in the corner. But with this, we can actually turn it around, and because of that spur on the side, now we can actually go across the grain. That little spur slices the fibers as it cuts across so that this can come in and remove the chips behind it. It gives you a very clean rabbet on the end of the board, also known as a Philister. The 42 first showed up in the Stanley catalog in 1970, and it was such a big deal that they actually gave 2 full pages to this one tool. It was kind of revolutionary. You could replace your plow plane, your matching plane, your rabbet plane, and your Philister plane all in one that takes up very little space at all. And this was years before they came out with the 45. But about 14 years later, Justice Trout put out the patents for the 45, and this quickly took over and the 42 soon disappeared. Most of that's because this was actually relatively adjustable. One of the big problems with this is very, very hard to adjust. There is no mechanism for adjusting the blade in and out in its depth or its lateral. So normally you would come in with a mallet and tap it in, but there's so many other things you'd run into tapping it in, it's actually kind of hard to get at the iron itself. Not to mention, if you want to eject it with a normal plane, you hit on the nose to make it move back. Well, it doesn't work very well in a metal plane. And that gets even worse with the plow irons. Once they are in that slot, there's no way to hammer adjust them. You can't get in there, and they are very fiddly to adjust in and out. This is just a very difficult plane to set up. Even the depth stop on here is actually part of the rail. So when you loosen this up, you have a nut that's actually on the end of the rail. Sliding everything around in this, it's just really fiddly by modern standards. The 45 fixed all that with a depth adjuster on here and having it actually set against the side so lateral adjustments aren't that difficult. Everything on the 45 is actually much easier to adjust than the 42. When it was originally released, it was $15 for the iron version and $18 for the gunmetal, which is what we have over here. Only a few years later, they were actually able to drop the price to $9 and $12. But still very expensive for its time. That would mean this originally cost $400 to $600, which, you know, by today's modern hand tool range, that's not that bad for something like this. But considering when they came out with the 45, it was only $8. That's less than $200 in today's money. $200 for this with all of the irons. That's honestly impressive. And that makes it pretty obvious why the 45 took over and soon the 42 basically disappeared. This wasn't as adjustable, it didn't do as much. The 45 did everything that this did, plus it did more. It had beating irons and other things on top of that, and it cost half the price. Originally, it came in two different varieties. You can get the 42, like this one, and this is gunmetal. You could also get it in all iron. It didn't look as pretty, it was a little bit cheaper, but that was called the 41. Then, if you wanted to save some money, you could actually get it without the Philister foot on there. It was just a plow and matching plane. In that case, it was significantly cheaper at only $8 to $10, depending upon which one you wanted. And those were the 43 for the iron and the 44 for the gunmetal. I know Stanley was very ingenuitive in how they numbered all of their tools. I've actually wanted a 42 or a 41 for a while. They're really kind of interesting tools, and they're very hard to come by, and because of that, they're very expensive. They're very collectible. But as a user tool, they're not that great. They do the job, but they're difficult to play with and they're not absolutely amazing. And so because of that, they're kind of one of those things that, yeah, if you're just wanting tools for using, you really don't want one of these. Not to mention, they cost a good bit. Now, this particular one that I have here is not mine. I still don't have the money to buy one, and they are actually very rare. Very few times have I actually seen one of these for sale. And so because of that, there's a fan of this channel who reached out to me and said, hey, I've got one. Would you like to show it off? And said, yes, yes, I would, because they're just kind of cool. So I want to say thank you for letting me borrow this. I will be shipping it back to you soon. But honestly, it's one of these absolutely beautiful tools of a bygone era. Then I have a lot of people telling me, oh, people back in the day, they were very utilitarian. They made things to get done. They didn't make them very flowery. Oh my goodness, no, they made them very flowery. And the older the tools are, the more flowery and special they are, the more intricacies they wanted to show off. It's now the modern things that tend to be very utilitarian and stark. The beautiful artistry of the past is something that we don't really have much of anymore. So there you have it, the Stanley number 42. Interesting plane, really cool history, fascinating piece, absolutely beautiful, but not terribly useful in today, and well, more of a collector's piece than a functional tool. Will it do the work? Yes. Do you want to do the work with it? Not so much, because later, Justice Trout presented us with the Stanley 45, an absolute beautiful piece of engineering. And you can pick one of these up for 40, 50 bucks and relatively useful, whereas these aren't going to cost you 40, 50 bucks. They're going to cost you significantly more. So good luck finding one if you really want it. So I hope that helps you out. If you have any questions, thoughts, ideas, snide remarks, throw those in the comments down below, and it does help out the channel when you do that. Thank you. Also, thank you to everyone scrolling over here on the side. They're the ones who make this channel happen. Without them, Wood by Wright wouldn't exist. I think that'll do it for now, and until next time, have a wonderful day. I can understand it now. Yes, Stanley did actually come up with the answer. Life, the universe, everything. It is definitely 42.